In this video, I'm going to be covering the most misused React hook, but it's also the most flexible React hook, and that is the useRef hook. And I want to try to prevent you from making many of the mistakes that I see developers make all the time with the useRef hook, while showing you everything that it can do. Also, if you want to learn more about React and how powerful React can be, make sure to check out my full React course. I'll link down in the description, where you can learn everything you need to know about React to go from knowing nothing to being job ready. Let's get started now. Welcome back to Web Dev Simplified. My name is Kyle, and my job is to simplify the web for you so you can start building your dream project sooner. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. Now to get started, I have probably one of the most basic React applications open. We just have simply some state for a name, as well as an input that changes that name. And when we update that name, you can see it prints out down here where it says my name is, and then whatever the name that we actually print out is. So a really basic React application. And in order to start talking about what useRef is, instead of getting into the nitty-gritty details of the implementation of it, I want to talk about what you would want to do if you wanted to show the number of times a component rendered on the screen. So if we wanted to have another div that says I rendered, and then some variable in here x times, how would you go about implementing this? Well, most people would think, okay, well, I'm going to create some state variable called render count and set render count, and we're going to set that to use state, and we're going to default it to 0. And then every time we render our component, we can do that inside of a use effect. So let's just make sure we import use effect here. Whoops, use effect, just like that. So now what we want to do is every single time that our component re-renders, which is just a basic use effect, we want to set our render count to render count, whoops, previous render count, and we just want to do previous render count plus 1. So this would correctly update our render count, and we could print that out down here, render count. This would correctly update our render count every time we render our component. But a huge red flag with this is that when you update your state, you cause the component to re-render. So the first time our component renders, it's going to set this state, which causes it to re-render. And then it's going to set the state again and re-render, and re-render, and re-render, and re-render. Essentially, you're setting yourself up inside of an infinite loop. I'm not actually going to save this or run it because it will throw an infinite loop, and I don't want to deal with that. But just know that state is not the way to do this, because you can't do it with state. There is no way to do that because state will just cause you to get into that infinite loop. The solution, though, is to use something called refs. A ref is very similar to state in that it persists between renders of your component. But the important thing to note about refs versus state is that a ref does not cause your component to re-update when it gets changed. So instead of using a state here, let's do something called useRef. And we again pass it our default just like this with 0. But instead of returning 2 values, it's going to return just one single value we're going to call render count. And the important thing about this is this actually returns an object. And this object looks like this. It just has a single property called current, and it's going to by default set that current value to 0, because that's what we passed into useRef here. So render count is just an object with a current property, and when we update that current property, that is what gets persisted between our different renders. So instead of here, we can take our render count, and we can take the current property on it, and we can just set that equal to render count dot current plus 1. Now if we save, you can see we're getting an error. We just need to make sure we import our useRef hook. And now if we save, you can again see we're getting another error. It's saying objects are not valid as React children. And that's because, as you remember, render count is an object with a current property. So we need to access the current property of our render count down here. Now if we save, you can see it says I rendered 0 times. Really, we should probably default this to 1. There we go. Now if we change our name, this will actually update our render count, so change that. You can see now it says I've rendered 2 times, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every time I re-render that component, this number is counting up. And the important thing to note is that we can change this render count.current as much as we want, as many times as we want, and it'll never ever cause our component to re-render, because it's completely separate from our component render cycle. So the important thing about ref is it's very similar to state in that you can store a previous value in it and it persists between different renders, but it does not cause you to re-render like state does. So that's the basic use cases for using refs, but probably the biggest use case that people are going to use refs for is to reference elements inside of your HTML. And this is actually so popular that each element inside of your document has a ref attribute, and you can set that to any ref that you want. So let's just get rid of all this render count stuff. Now let's create a ref here for our input. We'll say const input ref is equal to useRef, and then we can come inside of our ref here and say input ref. So now, whenever our input ref gets rendered on the screen, it's going to set this input ref variable equal to this document element right here, this input. And now all we need to do is, let's say that we want to, on button click, update our input ref to actually focus it. This is a really common use case. So instead of all this render stuff down here, let's change this to a button that's going to say focus, just like that. So when we click this focus button, I want our focus to be put inside this input so we can start typing. So all we need to do is say on click. What we want to do is run a function. We'll just call focus. And up here, we're going to create that function called focus. And all this is going to do is take our input ref. Remember, we need to get the current property of that. And that is going to be equal to this input element right here. For now, let's just console log that so you can actually see what that looks like. It's going to be just like if you access this from JavaScript. So we click focus, we're going to inspect our page, go to the console, and you can see we get that input value here. It is exactly the same as if you were to use document query selector, for example, to get this input. It gives you the exact same DOM node. So now what we can do, instead of logging this out, we can just call here focus, and now just clean this up a little bit. And now we save, we click this focus button, and you can see my focus gets immediately put inside this text box to start typing. Like I said, this is the most common use case for refs, which is why there is this ref attribute, which makes this incredibly easy to do with React and hooks. But because this is so easy, people tend to abuse this power. Instead of letting React manage all of your state and all of your values and your on changes, people sometimes use refs in order to do this on change stuff. So instead of using state and using the on change to update your state, inside of this ref, they would, say input ref.value equals some value. And again, just make sure this is current.value, and then when you click focus, it's going to update the value of your input here, but it doesn't actually update your state. And you can tell that because the my name is section did not actually update because our name variable in our state never got changed. We just manually set the value of this input ref. So this is something that you never want to do in React. You always want to do all your management through React state or React props instead of manually setting these values. Same thing if you were to do something like append child. You don't want to worry about appending childs or adding child or removing childs. That is all something that you want to handle with React and with the actual JSX, and do not do that with refs. But this is something I see all the time, so I want to warn you because these are mistakes that if you make, it's going to make your code so much harder to work with and so much harder to use. So we talked about how refs can be used to store values, persist them across renders, and also how it's most commonly used to reference input elements such as like this or other DOM element on your page. Well, another great use case for refs is to store something like the previous value of your state, because there's no way to get the previous value of state, it's just always the value of state. So what happens if you want to store the previous value of your state? Well, that's actually fairly simple to do. We can come in here, say use effect, and this is just going to be a function, and we want to run this every time our name changes, because we want to store the previous value of our name inside of a ref. So we can just say previous name is going to be equal to useRef. We're just going to leave this blank to start with. And then here we can say previous name dot current is going to be equal to our name. And now we just get rid of this input ref section, and we can say my name is name, and it used to be previous name, just like that. And if we save, again, we need to make sure we do previous name dot current, something that I always forget. And now we can see my name is blank and it used to be. So if we type in A, you can see my name is A and it used to be blank. If we type in B, you can see my name is AB and it used to be A. And same thing here. We're always storing the previous value of our name inside this previous name variable. And this is really great to use because if you're using state, for example, when you wanted to set your previous name inside of a state variable, it would cause your component to re-render again. But by using refs here, we're actually not causing that additional re-render, which we don't actually need. So refs are really useful for not only accessing DOM elements, but they're really useful for persisting values across renders without actually causing a re-render. And that is, in my opinion, the biggest use case for refs, because otherwise, inside of a function component, there is no way to persist values between renders. In a class component, you can use class variables and such to persist values between renders, but with function component, you need to use refs in order to persist a value between renders if you're not using state. And that's all there is to the useRef hook. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my full in-depth React course linked in the description below to learn even more about React, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much for watching.